Hello everyone, Super Goji here with another figure review. The star of today's show is actually one from Sunguts. This represents Godzilla as seen in the 2001 film Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, That's a mouthful. One of the strangest origin stories of Godzilla by far, with him literally being yet again the Godzilla we see attack Japan in 1954. Except, this time he is raised from the dead by the lost souls that died during World War II. What the fuck? In the film, Godzilla is pretty much just evil incarnate, hell-bent on killing everyone and everything he sees. Pretty fucking extreme. As a kid, this one was always one of my favorites to watch. I mean, the soundtrack was just downright mystical, the creature designs and effects were incredible to look at, and this was one of the most badass incarnations of the Big G thus far. Sunguts did a fantastic job capturing that likeness in such a small size. From the front, he sort of looks like a chicken leg, but also managing to look pretty menacing with those blank white eyes and those sharp fangs. This figure also looks really good from the back, except for this little spot down near the spines that's just kind of like a smooth piece of vinyl. I don't really understand what that's there for, but it's honestly not really a big deal, and nobody's really going to notice it. That's sort of a nitpick on my end. But as you can see, there's a lot of really scaly tree bark-like details all throughout the figure, and it just looks super nice, pretty much any angle you look at it from. He's also got some super wide mommy thighs, which is actually pretty suit accurate, and I'm glad that's on this figure. As for articulation, it's about as basic as it's gonna get. His two legs move pretty much 360 if you wanted them to go, but I'm not going to do that for the video. And his arms do pretty much just the exact same thing. Pretty simple, go up and down. Could move 360 if you forced it, but again, I don't typically like to force my figures because I'm a grown man. There's no articulation on the tail, but you can get a little jiggle wiggle out of it if you tried. The front is sculpted super nice with Godzilla's trademark sort of tree bark-like skin. You can see his chest here, looks pretty good. And with what little paint this figure has, it actually manages to get a lot done. The silverish gray dry brush on the front, in person it almost sort of shines in a way, and it looks really nice. The toenails and fingernails are painted the same silver as actually the rest of the silver on the entire body, but it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty simple, but gets a lot done. Aside from the head sculpt, I think my favorite part about this figure is actually the dorsal spines. They're painted with pretty much like a metallic-y silver, and then there actually is some specks of black on it, and it gives it this sort of metallic effect, and it looks really cool in person. The sculpting back here is also just really nice. You can see Godzilla's like sort of where his dorsal spines start to form on his back right here, and those look really good as they transition up to the second piece, which is the dorsal spines themselves. And I think it's a little effect on this figure that goes a long way. My favorite part about this design in particular has always been the head. I've always liked my Godzillas super pissed off, and that's exactly what this Godzilla is. And Sunguts did a really good job sculpting this figure in a way to where it's sort of like that chibi style that Sunguts does, but also manages to make him still look pretty upset. He still has that classic pissed off GMK look that I've always loved, and I think this figure does a really good job at capturing that. The teeth are painted in the silver that's painted on the rest of the body, which pretty much makes 4 colors on this figure. Gray, silver, and white. And then black for the actual vinyl. The arms and hands are sculpted quite nicely. It's just one piece. And, I mean, it's Godzilla's hand. It pretty much gets the job done. And for the size, there's actually a surprising amount of details in there, and it looks pretty good. His knuckles are sculpted, his arm has different skin textures on it, and it looks really nice. As for the feet, they're your basic dinosaur Godzilla-esque feet. These have the 4 toes that are painted in just silver and black. I mean, you're not going to get too much more out of this. The kneecaps look really, really nice. A lot of textures, a lot of texture with this figure. That's the first thing I noticed when I got it, was actually just the amount of detailing and textures on the vinyl itself. It looks really cool. Here's how he stacks up with a few other figures from my collection. To his left, you can see his Baragon counterpart. These were a Wonderfest set, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I'll research in editing while I'm editing this video, see where these guys came from. Then I've just got some more chibi stuff, and just for fun, I threw in the NECA 89 in the background there. Sunguts figures, they stand around 4-5 inches tall, so they don't take up a lot of space, and if you somehow have the money to afford a decent collection of them, they all look pretty nice next to each other. As you can see here, he stands just a little bit taller than something like the Death Rail 62, and overall isn't too bad on size. If you're a Sofubi collector especially, I think this is an amazing figure to own, as well as an amazing sculpt to hunt down. I know that there's quite a few variants of this guy, as well as the Baragon, and pretty much any other Sunguts figure in existence, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 variants of it, so if you're picky, you get to pick and choose. I think he fits in quite nicely with pretty much any other Sofubi you have, or just any other Godzilla figure in general, as he sort of hits that in-between mark of super stylized, yet still being pretty accurate to the suit. And that concludes this review. Thank you for everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take just a second to subscribe and like. It's real easy. All you do is scroll down and hit 2 clicks, and it helps out so much. Big thank you to all of you guys. The channel's been growing, and I can't believe it. I'm sort of the perfectionist, and I'm trying to get better with these videos as I go, and I'm always nitpicking and trying to just make these videos better, more professional, and just overall better for you guys to watch. So I'm just really happy to have that kind of support. So thank you, everyone, and I will see you next time.